If your business is bringing in what you need from your job, quit your fucking job and focus on your business. What is up, my fellow dreamers and soul searchers? Welcome to the Roxy Talks Manifestation Podcast, your raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic source for all things manifestation related. I'm Roxy Lee, and for the last decade, I have been researching and developing my signature 360 method, which combines behavioral science, quantum physics, and the law of attraction to help you manifest a life beyond your wildest dreams. Visit roxytalks.com for more info. Now, let's get into it. What is up, my fellow dreamers and soul searchers? Thank you for joining me here for another episode of Roxy Talks, the Manifestation Podcast. And we are here to really break free from the matrix, from traditional thinking, to grow our consciousness, to grow our awareness, to grow what we think is possible in such a way that it allows us, that it allows you to create any life you could possibly imagine. Now, obviously, we talk about manifestation all the time, and you are manifesting all the time. You are a manifestation master. You're a manifesting machine. Every moment of your life has been generated by your consciousness and your awareness, and it will continue to do so as long as you're in this body. And then probably for, I don't know what happens after that, but I imagine it's some sort of continuous creation process, since we were made in the image of the Creator, and the Creator obviously creates. The Creator created us, and we are creators. We create in this realm that has been created for us to create, right? So don't ever lose that power. Don't lose the perspective that you are here doing the work. You are here doing the job of the creation. You are here being the center point for all that will become. You are the epicenter for what happens in your world. And nothing happens to you that does not stem from your thoughts first. Not one thing appears in your 3D reality that does not start out as an idea first. So this is why I'm always harping on awareness and discipline, 360 method, because everything starts with awareness. Everything begins with awareness. Creation begins with the concept, right? Conception, the idea. Nothing can be created unless there is an idea of it first. And so I just want to drill into your mind how important it is to be the gatekeeper of your thought process, because whatever is going on in your mind is going to become your world. And it may be subtle. It may be stuff you don't even realize is happening. And this is why awareness and discipline is always key, because you've got to be paying attention. You've got to be willing to dig deeper. You've got to be willing to pick things up and look underneath them and look behind corners and in dusty, dark areas, and be willing to shine a light. Be willing to clean up those spaces that are, whether you realize it or not, preventing you from going where you want to go. The stuff that you're avoiding is literally the stuff that's keeping you in your current reality. It's the stuff that keeps you stuck. It's the stuff that keeps you anchored. So really understanding and honing in on this idea that I'm creating all the time. It's all coming from me. If I don't like something, I need to change the narrative now. If I continue harping on what I don't like, I stay there. So if you don't like your job, you don't like your current situation, you don't like the money you're making, you don't like the amount of freedom that you have, I would shut the fuck up about that aspect of it right now. Today would be the last day I would acknowledge that without immediate switchery, without changing that after. Again, awareness and discipline in action. I notice I change. I notice, I change. I notice, I change. I notice, I change. I'm aware, I become. I'm aware, I become. I'm aware, I become. It's always happening in every moment. Every moment of the day, you're becoming either more of who you already are or something different, right? There's the only two options. It's either more of what it is or not. And it's your job to take every opportunity that you can to become something more, become something better. And I assume that you feel that and you want that for yourself. Otherwise, why the hell are you listening to a manifestation podcast? Why would you be seeking information that would help you change if you didn't want to change? And why would you be taking action and listening to this if you weren't willing to do what it takes to become something different? I believe you are. I believe the fact that you're listening to this right now is enough evidence. It's all the evidence that you need to know that you can and will become what it is that you desire. Now let's quit fucking around with the can I, will I, me, all the wishy-washy shit, and let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What are you going to do about it? You don't like your job. You don't like the money you're making. You don't want to work for somebody else. You want to make money in your business. You want to bring in more clients. You want to talk to the people who really resonate with your work. And I'm telling you from first-hand experience, you don't want just any clients. You want the clients who love you and love what you're doing. It makes your work so much more enriching. It fills your cup back up as you are pouring into other people. When you're not aligned to who's in your world and who's in your community and who you work with or who you serve or who you present to, whatever it is that you do, if you're not aligned to those people, if they're not genuinely connected to your authenticity, it's going to feel like a drain when you pour into them because they're not going to pour back. And they're not going to have the appreciation of your work that somebody who actually values it would, right? It makes sense. And over time, doing work that does not align with your soul feels like shit more and more. And you know that because you want to quit your job. You want to stop the side hustles. You want to make money doing what you actually enjoy. You want to make money on your own terms. I assume. I know I do. I know I don't want to work for anybody else. I will never work for someone else again for the rest of my life, period. End of story. I'll never return to working a job, working for someone else ever again. Because that's not me. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to change the world. I'm here to let you know that you're here to change the world and get to doing it. I was going to say get off your ass, but I know you're working. I know you're working so fucking hard. I know you're doing so much. You're doing all the things. But you need to stop doing all the things and start doing the right things, right? So how is it that you're going to quit your job? What is this going to look like? Okay. I'm not saying go quit your job today. Unless you feel super aligned and you've been thinking about it, or it's just like, oh my God, Roxy, this is the sign I needed. Thank you. I'm going to do it. That's on you. I just want to say, I'm not saying quit your job today unless you want to quit your job today. Of course, you're an adult. You can do whatever you want. But don't come back and be like, Roxy's going to quit my job. No, because if that's how your attitude's going to be, then you probably shouldn't quit your job because your mindset's not right. And that's exactly what I'm about to talk about is, yes, let's quit your job, but we need to cultivate the right mindset first, okay? Because chances are, if you're still attached to your job, just quitting without a backup or without having sales, unless your business is already going and you're already making, if you're making a bare minimum of your salary in your job in your business, quit your fucking job today. Or if your business is bringing in what you need from your job, quit your fucking job and focus on your business because your business can bring in so much more than your job ever will. But if you're at zero with your business or, you still need the income, I totally understand. We're going to get you there. So first things first is we have to start cultivating the mindset, okay? Because you don't want to dive into an empty pool. We want you to dive into a full pool, right? So you need to start filling the pool. It's time to quit my job. I can't wait. I'm so supported. My business is booming. Money's coming through from my business, or I have a huge cushion. I'm not worried about money. Money comes to me either way. Doesn't really matter. Whatever you have to start telling yourself, I want you to start cultivating a mindset that is like, actually, quitting my job is probably the smartest thing I could do. And for me, to build Roxy Talks, I had to quit my job because I didn't have the bandwidth emotionally or even hours in the day to do both. And I know that because I tried. So for about 6 months or so, I was trying to really build my business while I was still working my 9 to 5. But I was so exhausted and so just like overworking and irritated that I didn't want to spend my, few free hours that I had on working some more, even though my business was what I really cared about. I understand that feeling of being like, listen, I would love to not work at this fucking job and do only the business, but let's be real, I got bills, and you go down the road, and then what happens? You stay the same, like I was saying earlier. You're not using awareness and discipline in that moment to change the story, to say, actually, fuck this job. I barely make any money and I make 10 times that in my business. Why am I wasting my time? Or something to that nature, right? Whether or not it's true, and I'm not saying take that action right now, but like that kind of mindset is the one that is going to allow you to, or something similar, again, your version of that is going to allow you to have the courage to quit, to have a backup, not a backup, but like a safety net or a cushion, whatever you need, or to bring in sales, whatever it is. But, and honestly, this is just like one aspect of the journey. Of course, everybody's going to have their own situation. For me, I had a 9 to 5 that was just killing me inside. I desperately needed out of it. I ended up creating the 30 days of alignment out of pure necessity for myself. It wasn't even supposed to be a business thing at all in the beginning. It wasn't until I had taken myself through it about 6 days when I was like, oh shit, hold on. This is like rapidly changing my life. Other people need this. And then I started recording it every single day. So for me, it was, a daily thing. I didn't have to do much except, I guess, essentially journal about what happened to me during that 30 days. And then that was in June of 2019. I did those 30 days. Then in July of 2019, I compiled it into a PDF. And that is still the 30 days of alignment that we have today. I've updated it a little bit, but for the most part, it is exactly the same. It's exactly the same document and that I created in 2019. And then once I started putting that out and sharing it, I was like, I got to get out of this job. I have to get out of this job. And it was about July 21st that I quit my job. And it took me, 50 days or so on the 30 days of alignment plan, which was basically just 360 before 360 was a thing. Because it was me trying to control my reactions and not react to the 3D world and to the circumstances, which is basically 360, right? Awareness and discipline. Doesn't matter what's going on around me. I say what I want instead. I do what I want instead. I act how I want instead. I take from it what I choose versus like what my eyes are seeing. So while I was doing this 30 days of alignment, I was also developing 360 method at the same time. I always say 30 days is the seed that grew into the tree that is 360. So this was my experience. And then about 2.5 months or so later, my business was fully launched and we were ready to go. But I was cultivating the mindset that allowed me to quit my job, to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that my business was needed and necessary now. And I needed to get off my ass mentally and just do the fucking thing, get over my own imposter syndrome, my insecurities, my worries, my doubts, my fears, get over that shit and realize I'm going to be helping people, period. I already know that's where I'm going. That wasn't a question. It was just a matter of when am I going to fucking do it? And I decided to quit waiting. It was a shit or get off the pot moment kind of a thing. And I just dove into it. But I would not have been prepared for that if I had not been preparing for it mentally, emotionally, working on that for over a month, every single day, really, really, really dedicating myself to creating a new experience with my thoughts and my reactions, because the way that I was being before that was not going to get me there. The person that was choosing the 9 to 5 job over building the business, and it doesn't matter why. My reason was fear. And also, I didn't fully believe yet. So fear and disbelief were convincing me to choose the reality where my job was the smarter option, which it wasn't, obviously. Because here we are 4 years later, and Roxy Talks is still going strong. We've grown every single year. Every year we've done better than the last. and it's just going to keep going and growing, right? So all of this work that I did on myself mentally coincided with the physical work that I was doing to actually build the business. So I built the 30 days lead magnet. I will leave a link to the free version in the description on the podcast notes if you want to download that for yourself. I created that. I put it out as a lead magnet to capture emails, to build my email list. And then I started mentally preparing to take one-on-one sessions. I began doing that. I remember I did one free session and I was like, all right, that's enough free stuff. Let me start charging. I did one session that was like, I maybe was charging too early, but actually that session changed everything for me and made me realize, what I was doing wrong, which was really powerful, even though I was kind of embarrassed at the session I gave because it was nowhere near what the quality that I realized I needed to give, but it gave me that learning lesson. And then later on, a few months down the road, I gave that person a free session because I was like, listen, I had not had my full awareness of what I was doing and what I was teaching when we talked. Now I've kind of come up with my own method and all these things. So let me give you a free session. So I felt like I could close that chapter of being like, man, my first session really sucked. But also, just so everybody knows, your first session could suck, and that's okay. You could do free sessions, and that's okay. Eventually, you're going to fall in line with the way you do things, your coaching or your service that you provide or your art or whatever it is. It's going to change and adjust over time. So that's okay. It's okay to be where you are right now. Where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be. You cannot get to the end of a road without walking the path, right? Like you have to walk the road to get to the end of it. It's just how things work. But if that's the road you're on, you will experience everything on that road and get to the end destination if you continue. So be okay with being a little messy. And honestly, entrepreneurship is messy. It's not a predictable, okay, it's just going to be like this forever. It's wild. It's taking action. It's working with inspiration. It's trying and failing. It's trying and succeeding. It's trial and error. It's trial and success. It is just experimentation at its finest, appreciation in 3D. Entrepreneurship is really fucking cool. It's a great journey, but it does require a certain level of fearlessness, or at least an acting through courage and acting through fear, because it's going to be scary. It's going to challenge you. But that's cool because on the other side of these challenges are the rewards that you've been seeking your whole life. And the stuff that you're doing now that is preventing you from getting these rewards is preventing you from getting the rewards that you want. So I want you to think about where you are in terms of like, okay, I could quit my job and know beyond a shadow of a doubt that whatever's happening in my business, it's going to work out. I'm going to bring the clients in. I'm going to bring the money. The sales are going to come in. I make sales every day. I have tons of people in my audience who are ready to pay. I have tons of people with money in my audience. People love to pay me. They love my products. They reach out every day. They're always asking how they can work with me or whatever works for your industry. Adapt those affirmations to work for you, and then begin rewriting the story about what you can and cannot do. Because I can tell right away where someone is in their journey when we're talking about this idea. They want to be financially free. They want to build their dream business or their dream life. They want to be a star. They want to be famous. They want to be known all over the world. They want to write best-selling novels. They want to make movies. They want to make albums that people buy. They want 6-figure months, $1 million years, whatever. But then I ask them, about what they're doing or what their job is or how they're moving forward. Oh, yeah, I can't because of this, and I'm still working on this. Okay. So you're not working on your belief system that says I can. You don't fully believe it's possible, which is fine. It's just, it's a mile marker. It's understanding where you're at in the journey. If you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, I could quit my job, but listen, you need to work on the mindset. You need to work on your mindset because that mentality is going to keep you in a job forever. It's going to keep sales away from you. It's going to keep people from buying from you because you are not all in. You're half in, half out. You have 1 foot in the business, 1 foot in your job. And the people that are ready to pay, They don't want someone with wishy-washy behavior. They're not going to pay somebody to wishy-wash all over them. If someone's going to pay you, especially high ticket, they want to know that you are fully convinced of what you're doing. They want to know that you are fully sold on the life that you're living, on the life that you want to create. They want to know that what they see is authentic. And if you are playing both sides, you're going to get a mixture of all kinds of shit. You're going to get duality on the 3D level. You're going to get a little bit in and then a little bit of not. Some of this and some of that. But it's not going to be streamlined, amazing, aligned clients who want to work with you, who love your work, who love everything you do, who are willing to pay, that want to be around you, be in your proximity, hear what you have to say. They'll buy your stuff because they're fully bought in. If you think about Beyonce, I know I mentioned her a lot, but it's, to me, the reason I mention her is because I see her as the pinnacle of certain types of success. She's at the very top of her game. And one of the things that Beyonce is really a master at is creating an illusion. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it as in like she's creating a world and you're fully immersed into and bought into the world that Beyonce presents. And here's proof of it. It's like, how many interviews does Beyonce do? None. She used to do some way back in the day. But for a very long time, she does not speak to press. She's not out here talking about anything. You don't actually know anything about Beyonce except what she presents, the way that she curates her content, the way that she crafts her shows and her music videos, her music movies, her anthologies, right? All of that is extremely well crafted. And then, of course, she has her talent to back it up. But look at where she is. She's at the very fucking top of her genre. She's the top of the food chain. She's one of the most powerful and rich people in the world. And she's a singer. She's a performer. But she's so good at bringing you into the illusion that you know virtually nothing about this woman, and she's the queen, right? We're obsessed with it. So you have that same power to cultivate any world you want and then live within it, place yourself within it, and then create magic from that space. So your homework from this episode is I want you to think about how far along the spectrum you are of like, I need to quit my job, or I can quit my job, or I should quit my job. It's safe to quit my job, to my business is booming. People are coming in. I'm bringing so many amazing customers in. Aligned clients are popping through my door every single day. Everybody wants to pay. They're so excited. They're asking for the link right away. They're signing up. I'm seeing all kinds of payment notifications, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Find your place along that spectrum and start moving the needle forward. Do 360 Method, 360method.co, and start paying attention to your thoughts and then changing them when necessary, paying attention to your actions and revising them when necessary, paying attention to your reactions and choosing what things mean and what situations will be for you. Don't let life just happen to you. You don't have to do that. You get to curate whatever experience you want. You are the Beyonce of your reality. So curate something that you actually want to experience. Start with the ideas, start with the mindset, and then also do the work in the physical world. Start building the business, get your website going, get your lead magnet together, put your podcast episode out, film that reel, whatever it is. Start moving forward in the physical world and also in your mindset. And if you do these two things combined, you are going to find that it's going to happen much faster for you. When I look back on that timeline, June 1st to July 21st, 50 days, right? 50 days, 50, whatever, it doesn't matter. And remember I said I had been working for about 6 months to try to balance everything without working on my mindset, okay? This was before I really, really got serious about my mindset, which was when 30 days began. So you have those 50 days, the final 50 days of that 6 months versus the whole 4.5 months before it. If I had stayed in my regular ass 3D world, halfway in, halfway out, thinking I spent 4.5 months not doing it, not getting anywhere, staying in the same job, becoming more and more miserable. When I decided to take control of my mindset, 51 days and I was out. And then, like I said, see, August, September, October, within 3 months, the business was booming. So, and shit, that's almost the same amount of time, isn't it? It's near the same amount of time. It is. Wow, hold on. I'm mathing, and this is happening in real life. I apologize. Because June is when the 30 days started. October 4th is when the business launched and everything just kind of fell into place. That means from January to June, we were doing it the hard way, and we made no progress except to get to the point where we were so fed up that we had to radically, drastically change everything that we did. That's just my journey. And then the next 4 months, the next 4 months, I built a business and then had amazing income happening to fund my lifestyle. And then shortly after that, we moved. If you've been watching my channel from the beginning, you saw that happen in real time. You saw me go from, hi, here's my channel, to 3 months later, oh, we're moving into our house. It really did all happen that fast. So from the beginning of 2019, where nothing moved forward in my life except my fucking disgust and fed upness with it. That's the only thing that really changed and propelled forward, was just like, I can't fucking do this anymore. That was the first 6 months of the year. No movement forward, just stewing and ruminating and how much I hated my life. I was getting there. But it wasn't there, right? Like I said earlier, half in, half out. And it's exhausting to be in that place, by the way. If you're one of those people, if you're in the half in, half out spot, let me tell you, it is so much harder to be there than it is to be all in on the shit you actually want, okay? And I'm telling you from personal experience. You're hearing my story right now. The first 6 months, I was half in, half out. I was miserable, and nothing happened. No progress was made. The second 6 months, I took radical action with my mindset first. And then I started taking action in the physical world because I was inspired. But it wasn't forced, right? Like I was trying to do. For the first 6 months, I was trying to force it. The second 6 months, I led with my mindset first. And what happened? I quit my job. I launched my business. My business took off, and then I was getting ready to move. And I moved we found our place in January and moved in February 1st, which obviously the ball was rolling, at the end of 2029. So the first 6 months of that year versus the second 6 months of that year. And I'm telling you, the difference between the two was the 30 days of alignment / 360 method. Radical difference. I broke out of the matrix, like I was saying in the very beginning. That literally broke me out of the old way of thinking. The first half of 2019, I was regular person, Roxy. I was just a regular person. Middle class, came from a middle class family, working to live, trying to make ends meet, whatever. Doing the thing that most humans are doing, which is fine. And then I became, fuck no, I'm going to change my life, Roxy. And I never looked back. I never was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have quit my job. I was like, damn, I can't believe it took me this long. Thank God. I was so obsessed with the fact that I quit my job. I was so proud of myself. That 6 months changed my fucking life, changed the entire trajectory of my life. It's why you're here today, listening to this. And that person that I became that month of June 2019, I'm still refining that. I'm still becoming her. I just looked at my clock and it says 9:19. That's so crazy. 19s, the nines are showing themselves. So, and it's funny because 9 is ending and 9 plus 1 is 10 and 1 plus 0 is 1 and 1s are beginnings. And what the fuck are we talking about? Endings and beginnings. Wow. Oh my gosh. Sorry. The numerology is showing. That's so funny. Anyways. Okay. So here's what I want to say to you. work on your mindset that is allowing you to believe in yourself, to believe your business is possible, to believe you can make money doing what you love, to believe it's needed and necessary on the planet, to know that you're going to do it no matter what, and then start taking little steps in the 3D. I didn't start doing radical action in my business until like September, just so you know. Like I said, I was still working on the mindset. I was still building, and I was doing smaller tasks. I wasn't fully immersed in the physicality of it just yet. But once September hit, I started like building my website. I built the free specific person masterclass. I built the Facebook group. And so I started taking radical action in September. And then at the beginning of October, everything fell into place. So that was the timeline of my journey. I'm not saying that's exactly how it's going to be for you, but it's an example of what can happen when you decide, yes, I'm going to fucking do it. Nothing is going to stop me. I do not care. I'm not going to think about that old world self. And in fact, I'm going to safeguard myself against that kind of thinking by being super on top of my thoughts, by doing this method, by doing this challenge, by pushing myself to be somebody different, act different, think different, react different, choose different. And it changed my entire fucking life. And it's still changing my life. And you better believe I'm using this method right now to elevate into my next version. You're going to see it happen. 2024 is going to be a crazy fucking year for me. I promise. I promise. Watch it, okay? Watch it. You're hearing it here first. 2024 is going to be the fucking year. So, how about you make that same declaration? Put it in the comments if you're on Spotify. DM me on Instagram. Let me know how this episode resonates for you. Tell me what your plan is. Are you going to start planning on quitting your job? Again, this is mindset work. Don't quit your job today unless you're mentally ready for it, okay? Because it is scary. It definitely is scary, or it can be. Let me not just put that into your story. It could be. It could be that if you were to take that leap, it would be so scary that it would sabotage you, right? And that's why I want you to work on the mindset before, if you need to, you know, and this is something that only you can really decide for yourself. So have some emotional intelligence, some self-awareness to look at where you are right now, which was the homework from this episode. Figure out where you are and then start pushing yourself forward, start moving the needle forward so that you do have the right thoughts, the right thought support system to take the leap. You want to basically create a safety net with your thoughts so that you can take the leap. If you want to begin working on this, you want a community of people who are doing it with you, you want strategies and structures, you want guidance on the mindset work, bigbeautifuldreams.com. That's the Big Beautiful Dreams Club. This is where I've got masterclasses like the 20K months masterclass, the Monetize Your Dreams masterclass, Rollin' and Dough master training is in there. And then there's also mindset work that's going to help you believe that this is possible, right? So the BBD Club is part strategy, part mindset, part community, part accountability, and then you get time with me. Actually, in fact, if you're listening to this on the air date, which is October 18th, we have a Q&A today. So you'll actually get to ask me questions. So if you're in BBD Club, make sure you hit up the Q&A today at 3:30 p.m. PST. If you're not in BBD Club, you could join right now, bigbeautifuldreams.com, $59 a month. I just unlocked all 6 months worth of game plans. For a minute, I was just doing one game plan a month. So if you joined in September, you got the September game plan. And then once the October game plan opens, we locked up September and we unlocked October. But we just decided to unlock all of the game plans. So right now you have 6 months worth of game plans in addition to all of the other stuff that is inside of BBD. And I was looking at it once we did that. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so fucking good. I got to raise the price on this. And my assistant was like, finally. But so that's just a warning. I haven't decided a warning. It's just just letting you know, I'm going to raise the price on BBD. I haven't decided when yet, but I do feel like it's time. The value is just incredible. And yeah, like I want that to be reflected. So if you're a member already, you are locked in at the price you're at. As long as you stay a member, you're locked in at your current price. If you're a founding member, you're locked in at $49. If you've joined between June and October, you'll be locked in at $59. And if you join right now, obviously you'll be locked in before at $59 before that price raises. That's $59 per month as of right now. And let me tell you, just the game plan alone for October is worth more than $59. And everything else in there is just incredible. amazing. Absolutely can help you get going and starting your business, making money, doing what you love right now. Okay. So I love you. I appreciate you. I would love to see you on our Q&A, bigbeautifuldreams.com. Thank you so much for checking out this episode. DM me on Instagram, leave a comment on Spotify, and let me know how it's resonating for you. If you're going to take these tips, where you are on that spectrum, and what you think you're going to do going forward to help you believe wholeheartedly in your big, beautiful dream. I love you so much. We're all raising our vibrations together. You have the power. I believe in you. I'll see you next week.